Every Stanley Cup champion has a unique journey, and Brandon Bussi's path is one of determination and persistence. And it's truly pretty crazy. This is the story of Brandon Bussi, how he went from an undrafted goalie prospect to working at frickin' Chipotle to a Stanley Cup champion. Let's dive in. For young goaltenders and aspiring hockey players, Bussi's story is a reminder that there isn't just one path to success. His career has been built on patience, dedication, and relentless effort, proving that hard work can open doors that once seemed out of reach. Raised in Sound Beach, New York, Bussi discovered his love for hockey at an early age. Like many young goalies, he spent countless hours sharpening his technique and developing the fundamentals that would serve him throughout his career. Rather than following the traditional route taken by many top NHL prospects, Bussi carved out his own path. He played for the PAL Junior Islanders before continuing his development in the United States Premier Hockey League, USPHL, and the National Collegiate Development Conference, NCDC. Those leagues gave him valuable experience, allowing him to refine his game, gain confidence, and prepare for tougher competition. Before becoming a Stanley Cup champion, Bussi spent years developing outside the spotlight. While many future NHL goaltenders are drafted out of the CHL, he continued to grow his game through the PAL Junior Islanders program on Long Island, proving that elite talent can emerge from less conventional hockey paths. Bussi began his time with the PAL Junior Islanders 16U team during the 2014-15 season. The Sound Beach, New York native continued developing his game within the organization before advancing to the National Collegiate Development Conference, NCDC, for the 2017-18 campaign. During his final season with the PAL Junior Islanders, Bussi posted an impressive .917 save percentage across 23 games while facing older, more experienced competition. At the time, few would have predicted that he would one day become an NHL goaltender, let alone a Stanley Cup champion. He later spent time in the North American Hockey League, NAHL, where he continued to refine both his physical abilities and mental approach while pursuing an NCAA Division I opportunity. Without the benefit of being drafted or carrying a high-profile pedigree, Bussi had to earn every chance through consistent performance. His perseverance eventually paid off when Western Michigan University offered him the opportunity to play Division I college hockey. Bussi's journey serves as an inspiring reminder that there is more than one route to the NHL. From youth hockey and the USPHL to the NCDC, NAHL, NCAA, AHL, and ultimately the NHL, his career proves that players can reach the highest level by continuing to develop and taking advantage of every opportunity. At Western Michigan, Bussi took another major step forward in his career. Competing against some of the nation's top collegiate talent accelerated his development and prepared him for the next stage of his hockey journey. During his time with the Broncos, Bussi established himself as a dependable starting goaltender. His size, athleticism, and continued technical improvement helped transform him into one of the top netminders in NCAA hockey. One of the most surprising and wildest chapters in Brandon Bussi's story happened away from the rink. During the summer of 2020, while attending Western Michigan University, he worked at a Chipotle restaurant in North Andover to help pay the bills. It's entirely possible that someone ordering a burrito was unknowingly being served by a future Stanley Cup champion. Standing 6'4", Bussi possessed the size NHL teams covet in modern goaltenders. But his success was about far more than his physical frame. He dedicated himself to improving every aspect of his game, from his positioning and rebound control to his consistency under pressure against top-level NCAA competition. His strong collegiate career eventually caught the attention of NHL scouts, even though he had gone undrafted. While many players see being passed over in the NHL draft as the end of their dream, Bussi refused to let it define his career. Instead, he continued working until an opportunity presented itself. After completing his time at Western Michigan, Bussi signed with the Boston Bruins as an undrafted free agent, earning the chance to begin his professional career with one of the NHL's most respected organizations. Rather than making the jump straight to the NHL, Bussi spent valuable time developing with the Providence Bruins in the American Hockey League. Those seasons allowed him to adjust to the speed and demands of the professional game while continuing to refine his technique and build confidence. Goaltenders often require more patience than players at other positions. and Bussi's development was a perfect example. His time in Providence proved invaluable as he established himself as one of the AHL's most dependable netminders. Over multiple seasons, Bussi consistently delivered strong performances, piling up wins and impressive statistics while earning a reputation for reliability. His steady play demonstrated that he had the composure, work ethic, and consistency needed to compete at the highest level of professional hockey. Bussi's outstanding play in the AHL didn't go unnoticed. As he continued to deliver consistent results, he earned recognition across the league and strengthened his reputation as a legitimate NHL-caliber goaltender. Just as importantly, his years in the American Hockey League helped him mature mentally. Facing elite shooters night after night sharpened his ability to read the game, control rebounds, stay composed under pressure, and handle the unique challenges that come with playing the position. After several seasons developing within the Boston Bruins organization without receiving an NHL call-up, Bussi was ready for a fresh opportunity. That chance arrived on July 1st, when the 27-year-old signed a one-year contract with the Florida Panthers. With Jeremy Swayman and Eunice Korpisalo occupying Boston's NHL crease, and Michael DiPietro producing strong numbers in Providence, the Panthers offered Bussi a clearer path forward, along with a higher AHL salary than he had earned with the Bruins. That opportunity came sooner than anyone expected. On October 4th, Carolina Hurricanes goaltender Pyotr Kochetkov played the entire game in his only appearance of the 2026 preseason, making 26 saves in a 3-2 overtime loss. Less than 24 hours later, just one day before NHL teams were required to submit their opening night rosters, Bussi found himself on the move. The Panthers assigned him to their AHL affiliate in Charlotte, but before he could even report, the Hurricanes claimed him off waivers. Carolina needed immediate depth after Kochetkov suffered a lower body injury, and Bussi suddenly had a new organization and a new opportunity to prove he belonged at the NHL level. Carolina opened the season carrying three goaltenders: Brandon Bussi, Pyotr Kochetkov, and veteran Frederik Andersen. Kochetkov wasn't expected to be sidelined for long, so Bussi's stay on the NHL roster was initially viewed as temporary. The Hurricanes were preparing for a 6-game road trip, and when Kochetkov was placed on injured reserve, Bussi suddenly found himself with an unexpected opportunity. His NHL debut came in San Jose, where he got the start against the Sharks after a late-night conversation with the coaching staff. Bussi made the most of the chance, stopping 16 shots to earn his first NHL victory in a 5-1 win. By the time Kochetkov returned in early November, Bussi had already posted a 3-1-0 record with a .225 goals against average and a .916 save percentage. The Hurricanes chose to keep all three goaltenders on the roster, but circumstances changed after Thanksgiving when Kochetkov suffered another injury. In late December, Carolina announced that the 26-year-old had undergone surgery, an injury that ultimately threatened to sideline him for the remainder of the season. Playing behind Carolina's structured defensive system proved to be an ideal fit for Bussi. His calm, technically sound style flourished, and the wins quickly followed. On December 11th, he set an NHL record by becoming the fastest goaltender to reach 10 career victories, accomplishing this feat in just his 11th appearance. He continued his remarkable run by recording his 20th win in only 24 games and his 25th in just 29 contests. By the trade deadline, Bussi had put together a 9-game winning streak, helping propel the Hurricanes to the top of the Eastern Conference standings. In February, Bussi's breakout season was rewarded with a 3-year, $5.7 million contract extension. The deal guaranteed him NHL-level earnings into his 30s and provided the financial security he had spent years chasing. Yet, despite the new contract, the 5-star hotels and NHL lifestyle never erased the memories of his long road to the league or the humble beginnings that shaped his career. The next and most memorable chapter of Brandon Bussi's journey would come during the 2026 Stanley Cup playoffs. Although Brandon Bussi ultimately found himself in the spotlight during the Stanley Cup final, Carolina's success had already been built on the outstanding play of veteran goaltender Frederik Andersen. Andersen was instrumental throughout the opening 3 rounds, providing steady, reliable goaltending that helped guide the Hurricanes back to the Stanley Cup final. When Carolina needed another goalie to answer the call, Bussi seized the opportunity. Despite having just a handful of NHL appearances and no previous playoff experience, he displayed poise beyond his years, delivering composed performances on hockey's biggest stage. Under the immense pressure of the Stanley Cup final, Bussi never looked overwhelmed. He stayed calm, trusted his game, and made the timely saves Carolina needed, helping the Hurricanes secure crucial victories on their way to winning the Stanley Cup. Following the championship, Bussi was quick to credit Anderson for laying the foundation. He acknowledged that Anderson's exceptional play throughout the first 3 rounds had put Carolina in position to compete for the title, emphasizing the importance of the veterans' contributions to the team's success. By the end of the playoffs, Bussi's incredible journey had come full circle. The undrafted goaltender, who once developed outside the traditional hockey pipeline, had become a Stanley Cup champion, adding one of the most remarkable underdog stories to recent NHL history. For Bussi, lifting the Stanley Cup represented far more than simply winning a championship. It was the reward for years of perseverance, patience, and unwavering belief in himself despite countless obstacles and setbacks. His path from youth hockey and overlooked junior leagues to NCAA hockey, the American Hockey League, the NHL, and ultimately the Stanley Cup demonstrates that there is no single blueprint for reaching the highest level. His career is proof that consistent improvement and determination can overcome a lack of draft status or early recognition. And there you have it, the wild story about how a former Chipotle employee became a Stanley Cup champion. So, what do you think of his story? Is Bussi full-time starter material in the NHL? Or was this just a stroke of luck? Let us know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more videos.